Oh.
I have a bone to pick with you.
What did I do this time? That food out there was boneless.
You up and leave as soon as a hurricane and an earthquake come barreling through this city, and you just leave your dog and me unattended.
And what did the two of you do? Get drunk like usual? Yeah.
Maybe. No.
That's why I don't tell you about tequila in the freezer.
No. How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Dare I?
And you didn't even call to ask if we were okay.
I saw you tweeting. I
I don't think I was.
I saw you tweeting up a storm. The real storm was your tweeting. No, our flight back got canceled. So we were supposed to take a little short trip to Idaho from Thursday to Sunday for a gender reveal. It's a boy. Sunday.
You mean a sex reveal?
It was a gender identity reveal.
No, it was
we found out trans.
Excuse me, sir. It was a sex reveal because that is the sexual organs that the
Pee Wee Herman did a sex reveal, and that's why I got arrested.
The fetus is showing, but you do not know the gender until the child is 4 years old and tells you what it is. So
we went to a gender reveal. No, it was
You didn't get arrested for that? Oh, well, I guess they couldn't see it.
And
Checks out.
It's so funny. I knew that nothing was going to happen because before we left, the weather forecast had said was...
See, what had happened was...
What was said was... That weekend through the following week was going to be hot. Like 93 degrees in LA.
Right.
So I knew nothing was going to happen as far as a storm or anything like that because I cracked the sunroof in my car that was parked outside in our backyard. The truck's sunroof was cracked the entire time.
Did you know that?
I thought it was. I came back and I was like, oh shit, I forgot. So the sunroof was cracked. Nothing happened. It didn't leak or anything like that.
Because you could have easily have called someone and said, could you do this? And one of us would have said, yeah.
Well, I didn't realize it. But before I left, a thought happened in my mind of, gotta leave the sunroof open because it's going to be hot.
All right, Emily Dickinson. That's a deep cut. If anyone knows the reference that I just made.
No one does. Maybe Colin. So Thursday we leave. We get to Idaho. Whatever.
Idaho.
Big deal. Anyway. Friday, they're like, there's a hurricane. And it's coming towards Los Angeles. And I'm like, no. We have not had a hurricane since 1939, and it was a small tropical storm, and the only casualties were the people in boats who got washed ashore in Long Beach. This is not...
And you remember it fondly.
I was there. I was down by the docks. Me and Cloris Leachman were out there bumming a cig.
Pickpocketing the dead people on the shore.
Exactly. You've got a wallet. You've got $4. Let's go out to dinner. So that was basically... Our Friday was like, what do you mean what do you mean? What do you mean that there's a hurricane coming? And then Saturday was like, it's going to come on Sunday and it's going to kill a lot of people. And I'm like, okay, we have our friends staying at our house. You are also going to come. And I'm like, the dog's fine. Like, he has his own house. It has a door. It has windows. Like, he's okay. It's not going to be like Twister. He's not going to get picked up out of the yard. Sunday came and went with some rain. And our flight was canceled on Sunday morning. So we're sitting there, like, going to the gym or whatever, and we're like, what? What do you mean the flight's canceled? So we ended up having to go over to Washington with Kyle's family, and not until Thursday were we able to fly back because every Sunday and Monday flight from Allegiant, Southwest, Frontier, even some of the major airlines canceled into anywhere in LA. LAX, Santa Ana, Burbank, and Ontario. And most of the Vegas flights were canceled too, so we couldn't even fly back and then drive here.
Right.
We actually considered driving back from there. It would have taken an extra day, but I was like, we could drive back the 1,000 miles from where we're at and get here. Like 2 500-mile days. But we were stuck. And we left you guys here in a tropical storm.
Which, by the way, as being someone from South Louisiana, that was like an afternoon storm for us.
That was like it rained a little bit.
These people who were freaking out, these people who were like, oh my God, I can't go anywhere. The streets of LA, since probably the pandemic, were empty. No
Really?
one, yes, because I was the idiot / actually semi-intelligent one. I got out to go get something to eat. No one was on the road.
Wait, really?
I drove down Santa Monica Boulevard.
Empty.
Not a single fucking person. I was like, what is wrong with you people?
You people are fucking stupid. So no one died, no one got injured. Nothing happened.
I don't think so. But
No.
the streets, you don't have the infrastructure here for a lot of rain, but it really wasn't that much rain. So the streets didn't even flood that much.
Yeah.
It was so blown out of
It
proportion.
was a large disappointment.
But then apparently, we also had an earthquake that I didn't feel.
No, because it happened 100 miles outside of town, basically. It happened in
However,
Ojai.
the woman who lives next to me that I'm renting from, she calls me the next day and she's like,
Felt it all.
so did you feel it? And I was like, was that your first earthquake? And I was like, what?
It's never good when a woman asks you, did you feel it? That's never good.
I just went, what do you mean? I had the same, what do you mean?
What do you
mean?
Like Jennifer Lawrence
Right.
and Hot Ones.
Right.
What do you mean?
And she goes, oh, yeah, we had a sort of a tremor yesterday. And I was like, no.
Did she have a stroke? Like, what?
Well, no. And then I got texts from other people like, oh yeah, you had and I had no clue.
I got texts
No clue.
after it happened. We're like, it's happening. And I'm like, what? And they're like, earthquake. And I'm like, no, you gotta be kidding me.
Ojai is not that far from here.
Ojai is pretty far from here. That's almost to Santa Barbara.
But still, a 5.2, we
You're
should
not
have
gonna
felt
feel
something.
it. No, because it's just not how the fault lines work here.
I don't know.
Now, it's not like Virginia or something where if there's an earthquake in Virginia, you'll feel it in Ohio. Like, because everything's flat. But there's 2 mountain ranges separating us and Ojai, despite the range, and the mountains usually dissipate whatever happens.
Well, apparently some people claim that they felt something. I felt absolutely nothing. I don't know if I was asleep. I don't know if I was watching YouTube.
Apparently,
I don't know what I was doing.
in the valley, like a couple little chandeliers had a little like, ding, like that was it. Couple very confused Armenians in Glendale. That was it. That's all that happened.
You abandoned your lovely dog and me and some other nameless schmucks here
I abandoned the schmucks.
just to fend for ourselves as Armageddon was around us. How dare you?
And what did it do?
In fact, you would have probably made it worse, so it's probably best you weren't.
Exactly. Also, our power was out at the house. Did I tell you? I didn't tell you this. So,
Oh, I'm glad you fixed the chirping.
okay. So we have an alarm set up at the house.
I was in this house for a few hours, waiting for my laundry and doing some of my work. Every 10, 15 second, beep, beep, and I was like,
It's like the smoke alarm at a pop.
right. I feel like one of those
Memes.
terrible racist memes of the smoke alarm going off, and I can't do anything to stop it because I tried. God knows I tried. I wanted to go over there and rip that thing off the wall, but I said
So-
he would kill me.
The house that we moved into has ADT alarms built in. But the problem is that the power went out from Sunday until Monday. So for some people it went... Did your power go out at all?
No.
Okay. So at Rich's house it went out for a few hours. At the apartment it went out for overnight. Here apparently it went out for most of Monday. So it was out. Then they came...
Thanks, Karen Bass.
Well, it was rolling, so it rolled from one house to the next. Our friends came over to check on the dog and feed him in the morning, and they heard the chirp and they thought it was the carbon monoxide alarm because ADT has a thing on the screen that says carbon monoxide, danger, or something. Like, we don't feel comfortable in the house. So I'm like, is the stove on? Like, what? There's only like one gas appliance in this whole house. Like, if there's nothing wrong with that, there's no carbon monoxide. Like, we don't live over an open mine. Like, I don't know what could possibly be happening.
What'd you call me?
So,
I haven't used that joke in a long time.
I know. And so they were really worried. And they're like, we don't feel comfortable sitting in your house. I'm like, what? They're like, we're just going to be on the patio. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. And then finally they were like, oh, we also can't get the lights to work. And I was like, oh, so the power went out. They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And that's why the alarm is chirping. I came back in. The first thing I did when I walked in the door on Thursday was got it, fixed.
How? I pressed every button on the thing.
4 buttons on the right. There's something that says reset, and I hit the reset.
I pressed it.
Well, apparently you didn't press it right. So, anyway, I fixed it. The alarm also is not connected. It's not activated. It's just wired in.
So if I ripped it off the wall, it wouldn't have made a difference?
No! You could have just done that.
Done you a fucking favor.
Well, probably. I don't know if we want to use it at some point. But anyway, because the power was out, the alarm was pissed. This whole house was like, people were... I thought for at least 30 minutes there was a gas leak here and it was dangerous, it was going to explode. Apparently the dog was fine this entire time. And he just sort of like chilled in the backyard and was happy that he got more company than usual. So...
Speaking of power outages...
Oh.
I have been hearing a targeted ad on the podcasts that I listen to. Flex Alert.
Oh,
do you know
power outages?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is an advertisement.
Is it from PG&E or from SoCal?
So they don't actually name anyone.
Oh, so it's a state agency.
Yeah, probably. And it says, "Hey, we're
fuckos.
we're Californians," and blah blah blah. And it's this couple who's talking to each other, and the wife says, "Oh, there's a Flex Alert. We can do the laundry and the dishes tomorrow. We'll just leave them."
What?
And the thermostat's set to 78, so I think we'll do the conscientious right thing, and we'll just unplug all of our appliances and just sit in the basement. Like, this is what they're talking about.
What?
And the husband's like, "Oh, a Friday night, with no distractions, or with my best friend. I can't wait." And I'm just like,
who's his best friend?
Who do they think we are? Like, do they think we're that stupid? Like, number one, if I had an air conditioner, it would never be at 78. I don't care how cold it is.
You turn it on.
That's number one. Number two, if I'm paying taxes, fuck you. I don't care. I'm not bowing to a Flex Alert. Don't tell me that I can't use power for 9 hours at a time because you're overloaded. Fuck you. Fix your shit.
This is why they do it to fix their shit. But this is honestly why I think that, like, instead of I don't care about rebates, I don't care about anything like this. I want a government program to give you free solar panels and backup batteries at your house. Fine. I can't use the public utility I pay for. You have to put $20,000 worth of solar panels on my house with a $5,000 battery in the garage. Because if you don't want me to use the power, I still have to use power. Like you said, I pay for taxes in the city. I pay a lot of money to do that. Or the state. You should at least give me access to power during that time. Or just put a nuclear plant, one or the other. Like, this idea that the grid is so damaged that it can't handle someone turning on a hairdryer at 4 p.m. is really sad.
And then, they want us all to have electric cars on top of that, so whatever.
But they remember that thing that they did a year or two ago when there was the brownout thing, when they were like, "Oh, but you don't charge your car during this time." Okay, now you're locking me in my hot house, and you won't even let me charge my car to leave my house. That's a problem.
78 degrees is oppressive. Like,
I keep this house at 78 degrees when we're not here, and it's hot.
Right.
It's hot.
Never.
Not in a good way.
Never.
No.
But I hear this ad constantly as I listen to these podcasts.
Because they geolocate you in California.
Right.
They're like, "Hello, would you like to pay less?"
Which they need to clarify that. Because, for example, if we ever put this podcast on
Flex Alert?
on Apple or Spotify,
yeah,
and they start pushing ads that we don't agree with,
God, that'd be funny.
People who listen to us need to know, by the way, you're getting ads that are geolocated. We're not okaying this.
The only ad I'm okay with is 1877 Cars for Kids. By the way, Happy Dad would be great because they could send us product. Cars for Kids, I think, needs to be investigated.
Oh, God.
Do people actually still give them cars? And how much of the cars go to the kids? Because they have radio spots every 10 minutes in the Los Angeles greater metropolitan area, the largest radio market in the country.
Are you still listening to the
every
radio?
station. Sometimes I do. But it's donate 7 cars for kids. Donate your car and you get a kid. Something like that. I don't know. But they don't. Where are they affording this? I think it's one of those things where they just use all the money from the cars to buy ads. And it's just an ad that perpetuates itself forever. It's not even a real thing. There's no kids involved. The person who signed the jingle is long dead. I don't trust it. I don't know. I'm waiting for their expose.
When did that start?
In the early 80s.
Was it that early?
It's been going on for over 40 years. People in the Southern California have been terrorized by the Cars for Kids people.
I heard it in Louisiana too. I mean,
oh really?
Yeah, it was a national thing.
Donate your car today. It's a registered 501c3. My ass.
There's 2 movie controversies that I would like to mention really quickly. So I wrote an article recently about the Snow White movie that's coming out. Oh, what?
Apparently, out of $3 million that they raised through donations in 2012 to 2014, $12,000 went to kids. So fuck Cars for Kids. They don't get shit from me. Snow White. I thought her name was Michelle Pfeiffer.
No.
It's Scarface.
Oh.
But yeah.
Use references we can all understand, like my Emily Dickinson reference.
You want a nice cup of Sanka before you go? Use those relevant references like, you're a real Harriet Beecher Stowe. Snow White.
If someone does get my Emily Dickinson reference, please leave a comment because I want to make sure that I'm not.
We'll send you coffee.
I'm not the only one that is insane.
Well,
yeah. So Snow White. This is kind of old news because the interview that's resurfaced by the star Rachel. Is it Ziegler or Zegler? I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name.
Ray Ziegler.
She was making all these comments about how it's. Fuck the prince, and well, she didn't actually say that, but she basically said that. And how the new version of Snow White is not about love or any of that. Like it's about female empowerment and all this crap.
Oh God!
But I'm thinking to myself, one of the top grossing films of all time, and the top grossing animated film of all time, still adjusted for inflation. Yeah. Is Snow White, the original 1937 film. The whole point of it was true love's kiss would break the spell to set, the woman free. But you're telling us that love has no place in this film?
It's literally about it.
Right. Literally, that is the only thing that is needed in this film to make it a true remake.
That's like doing a version of Bambi of being like, we're not using any deer. It's not... It's
and the mother doesn't get killed.
And the mother doesn't get killed and it's based in an office. Yeah, okay.
I don't understand. Like, what's the appeal? What's going on? But the gist of it is, it seems like she's tanking...
The film on
purpose. The film, maybe not on purpose, but... Because she seems like the type that's, the millennial generation who's very woke and wants to... believes all the shit she's saying. But she's tanking it before it even comes out. Like, well, if I were Disney, I'd say, shut up.
Well, that's the thing that I don't understand is because I heard this, and I was like, who does she think she is? Because I feel like at a certain point, Disney gets the hook, regardless of what happens. But I didn't know she was the bitch from West Side Story. So, yeah. I don't know what the argument is for her. Maybe she knows that this thing stinks. Because all I know is that if I was a parent with kids, and I've heard as much shit about this movie as I've heard from her, and also seeing how bad the Disney live-action films have been the past few years, like, Aladdin was unforgivable. That was horrid. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I haven't seen any of the live-action films.
So bad. That was the only one I saw.
That's not true. I saw Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, okay. But it's like, after seeing that, I'm like, I wouldn't take my kid to see Snow White. I'd rather just let them see the original, which is a classic movie. Right. And then watch Fantasia afterward or something. Not Farino. The movie, Fantasia.
Apparently, this Rachel Ziegler, she said that the original film was scary and not meant for kids. And I'm just like...
Yeah, the children's animated film?
Yeah. Like, I understand there are some themes in there that are kind of dark, but I wouldn't have no problems
showing my kid Snow White.
Letting a kid see that.
Well, Snow White was never my favorite anymore.
Mine either. So I don't know why they're making it a live action one.
Well, they're doing the dwarves.
Right. Which springboard, into the next topic, because all of this leftism stuff is ruining Hollywood. It's ruining movie magic. So I don't know if you heard about this, and I'll have an article coming out about this, hopefully tomorrow. Well, soon.
At some point.
By the time this is published, it'll be out. Go look for it. So Bradley Cooper is playing Leonard Bernstein in a biopic.
In the Bernstein Bears.
Have you heard about this?
Yes, I saw the beat that they put on him, and it's so funny.
So Leonard Bernstein, he was a Jewish man. He had a rather prominent and large nose.
But so does Bradley Cooper.
Right, but for people to now be saying that if this is akin to blackface,
Jew-face?
This is Jew-face.
He's a Jew-face.
Literally. This is Jew-face, and he should be ashamed of himself, and we should cancel all of this. She actually said, and it was an actress and writer from the UK. She actually said in her comments, if his performance is not true enough to Leonard Bernstein that he needs a prosthetic nose, then he's not doing his job as an actor. And I'm like, honey, that's not the point.
Well, here's what I think happened. Because Bernstein's family actually put out a statement saying, honestly, and by the way, I asked a couple Jews about this, and they were like, we're just glad we got Bradley Cooper. Like, we could have done so much worse. Like, this could have been Beanie Feldstein in drag. We actually got Bradley Cooper to play a Jew.
Bernstein was an American treasure. He
right, like he's part of the Great American Songbook.
Yes, but he deserves to be played and shown in a very good light.
The problem was that the still from the trailer that they used made him look like he had this
Gonzo.
This Gonzo nose. Like he looked like a Marx brother, like da-da-da-da, like this sideways sandwich that they shoved on his face, and it was so bad.
But other photos that I've seen
look normal.
Yes.
And you looked at photos of Leonard Bernstein as normal.
And he looks like Leonard Bernstein, so they've done their job.
I thought that they hired Bradley Cooper for the live action Pinocchio, but apparently I was wrong.
I just have so many problems with this. Number one, the fact that you're linking this and saying it's akin to blackface is just, number one, laughable. Number two, I'm sorry, if I were black, I'd find that degrading.
Yeah.
Blackface had a very specific thing that it was trying to do, and it was trying to belittle a race of people. Someone sticking a prosthetic nose on their face is not purposely belittling someone. In fact, Bradley Cooper, with working with with Leonard Bernstein's family, he was trying to do the best he fucking could. And I'm not a Bradley Cooper fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take up for the man. But he doesn't deserve this.
He looked like Robin Williams doing a Barbra Streisand impression in Mrs. Doubtfire. Don't tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. I watched that movie. But, okay, speaking of blackface, we have to cancel Judy Garland. Because she did blackface in, 1905. You were there.
In a film.
You were her agent.
In something that probably was okay.
Clang goes the trolley. I love that everyone... Who is doing the Al Jolson movie? Can Bradley Cooper do a movie about Al Jolson? Because I think that would be... Maybe Ted Danson could do it. He's done blackface before. Doing the Whoopi Goldberg thing. And she was fine with it.
Blackface aside,
I have a name.
The point of Hollywood and the point of movies and the point of the people's job, who it is to do the makeup and all that stuff, is to make you look like the person that you are portraying. I wrote this in my article. Are these leftists now suggesting that Meryl Streep was not good enough to play Margaret Thatcher? That we should get a dementia-ridden octogenarian to play Margaret Thatcher instead of having, someone who actually can memorize their lines?
Nancy Pelosi as Margaret Thatcher.
Dianne Feinstein as Margaret Thatcher.
That's a nonagenarian.
But, seriously, where do we end? Where does this slippery slope end of, well, that's that's racist. That's this.
No,
that's
you
that,
know
that's
you know where it
ageist,
ends.
Whatever.
You know where it ends. It ends with nepo babies. They have to portray their famous ancestors. So you have to see Ona Chaplin playing Charlie Chaplin as like this like fake disabled person, you know, with the hat and everything like that. You have to see Jamie Lee Curtis dressing up as Tony Curtis. And it's gonna get really upsetting really quick. Only Riley Keough can play Priscilla. Only, you know, this is what the final end stages of all of this.
But all of these actors who have portrayed other people in the past are because of this controversy with Bradley Cooper are now coming out and apologizing for what they did in the past.
Right.
Tom Hanks is now saying, "Oh, I should never have played that gay man dying of AIDS in Philadelphia."
Why? That was funny as shit.
And the Danish girl.
But you know what? He's not going to apologize for Forrest Gump. Because that made money. Philadelphia was supposed to be like a serious movie.
That made
He's never
his
going to
career.
apologize for Forrest Gump playing someone who's retarded.
What's the guy from the Danish girl?
Danish girl.
Yeah, he played the tranny. So the Danish girl was about a trans woman, and it was Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne?
Yes. He's come out and apologized. Oh, I should never have done that.
That was like 3 years ago.
It should have been a trans actress or something like that.
There weren't any.
And it's just like, what is going on here? Like, you are literally dismantling what it is to be an actor. You are literally telling us that you don't want to act anymore. You want people who have lived that experience to then portray this on film.
That's
so they're
very
not acting.
Soviet. That's very Soviet. These people have to be what they are. And that's something where I do have to applaud some of the older actors who have been around a while saying, that's obviously ridiculous. My job is to play somebody in a role. There's different character aspects of this person, and my job is to embody them to the greatest degree that I can.
Right.
It's not a matter of representation or how many seats are on the stage or whatever, anything like that. I am an actor and I play different roles. That's my job.
If you're getting on on camera, if you're getting in front of a screen or on screen and playing what you are, you shouldn't win an award. Like, there's no acting involved in this. You are playing who you are. I don't understand. They're ruining movie magic out of, fear of woke shit and offending someone.
I just think it would be really funny. I cannot wait for the Julian's auctions, like prop house auctions, in 5 or 6 years to auction off the nose. I want the nose. I think that'd be a crowning point of any memorabilia collection. Bradley Cooper's. Look, if you wanted someone with a big beak, why didn't you just have this co-star Lady Gaga step in and play Leonard Bernstein? She's dressed up as a man before and sung. Remember that weird Joe Calderone thing that she did that was really upsetting? She pretended to be Italian and made it Russian. Now she's pretending to be even crazier than normal to play Harley Quinn. I think that you should have Lady Gaga play Leonard Bernstein. I think you should have Lady Gaga play Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga in a Tony Bennett Lady Gaga biopic. Just have her play all the fucking roles in the world with that hip. And just upset everybody in the process.
Last thing.
Art Pop 2.
Rest in peace, Bob Barker.
Oh.
I have to admit, as many people have said on Twitter today, the Mandela effect is real. I thought the man was dead years ago.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, so...
In my mind, I read something 3 years ago that he died, and I was like, oh, okay, that's sad, my childhood.
Because he was 96 then.
I see it today, and I'm like...
What?
Why are we saying rest in peace now? Wasn't he already dead?
You can't do it.
Well, no, I love the man. He was an American treasure. But I honestly thought he was dead. I don't know why.
Well, here's what happened. Because for the period of time when Drew Carey took over The Price is Right, which is, almost 15 years now, I think, maybe longer, till now, you saw Bob Barker show up in front of the TMZ cameras all the time. So you'd see him and he looked older and older and older, and he was just going to Nate and Al's or walking around Beverly Hills, or oh, you took a fall, are you okay? All up until a few years ago. Then you stopped seeing him, period, so everyone assumed he's dead. He was not. He was still alive. He survived 2020, 2021, 2022, Betty White's advances, 2023, and here he is.
He did not survive 2023.
He survived through
He survived
the majority of it.
3/4 of it.
He survived the majority of this godforsaken year.
Yes.
And I now think that there's a, you know how they have like the 27 club? I think that there's the 99 club. Because you've got him and you got Betty White, both croaking before they can do the 100th birthday thing. And I think they're going to get Dick Van Dyke next. I'm worried. Because he's the oldest person now. If you think about it, like the oldest Hollywood person,
yeah.
You know, Luis Rayner's dead. Like, de Havilland croaked at 104.
Okay, I'm not crazy. Mary Tyler Moore is dead, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not misremembering that.
But, okay, that also comes to the point of, what do you do with the actors or actresses or TV people or whatever, radio people, where a tabloid basically says they're on death's door every other week? Like, they called Mary Tyler Moore dead in, like, 2001. Like, Bob Barker, they've been like, you know, his final days. The editor of that paper has died since then. He's outlived all of that. So at a certain point, you basically live past your death announcements to the point where everyone thinks you're already dead, and then you die.
And then everyone's like,
what?
Been here the whole time?
That's why I think that the best way to do it, especially if you are in your advanced 90s into your hundreds, is to be as loud as possible. So that when you finally do die, people are like, oh, thank God, we're done. Like, be like a Norman Lear or a Mel Brooks. Norman Lear's 100, right?
I don't know, but don't say that too loudly. Jane Fonda's going to hear you and she's going to start...
She's only 80-something.
She's getting there.
Well, she's still loud.
She's going to be louder.
But I think that the older you get, the louder you should be, to the point where at 100 years old, you should just be screaming half the day.
If you got louder than you already are as you get
Can you imagine how great that would be?
I could
move mountains, unlike that earthquake.
I want to go deaf immediately.
With a Leonard Bernstein nose.
Yep. And...
You know what? There's a line I have to tell you. I don't know if I've ever used it on the podcast before, but in another podcast I listened to, she was talking about her old agent, who at the time was in his 90s, and it was something like 97 when Olivia de Havilland got her 75th anniversary Oscar or something like that, Lifetime Achievement Award. You know, she's at that point 80, I think. She was older than the Oscars, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Right. And the agent said, no matter who you are or what you do, at a certain point, everyone just wants you to go the fuck away. And I take that to heart. And plan accordingly.
Go the fuck away.
No, I will be as loud as possible for as long as possible. That's my only goal.
My goal with this podcast is for you to get canceled so you can go away and go fuck yourself.
Oh!